So today I have a session with Ben Kingsley. Ben is one of Scotland's most up-and-coming golfers. He's a part of the national setup. And this season he's going to be playing a lot of links golf. So today our session is based around what parameters you need to change to excel in links golf. So we're going to be talking about trajectories coming up and down depending on those wind conditions. Okay Ben, so let's go ahead and hit 3 shots, okay. 3 standard 6 irons for us if you would, right. And then we'll talk about the changes. Okay Ben, that's great. So that's 3 standard shots we've got from you. So now we need to understand exactly what we need to do to change that trajectory a little bit lower or a little bit higher depending on the wind. Okay. If I take the club from you, thank you. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to keep this pretty simple. You don't need to change a lot here, but from the regular setup position, to bring that ball down, so again if you're going into the wind, we need to first of all bring the ball position back. We're going to narrow our stance just a little bit, and then we're going to move our weight towards our left side. So you can see how I move my sternum. It's not the hips, we're not trying to push the hips forward, we're moving the sternum forward so it's ahead of that golf ball. Then the real key is to make sure that impact, that we stay ahead of that ball. We don't want to go fishing back here for the ball, we're going to stay ahead of it and keep that loft off so it squeezes it out a little bit lower. It'll be a slightly more aggressive angle of attack, so we'll see a slightly deeper divot. But of course it'll fire that ball out nice and low for us. And it's pretty much the opposite then for the high ball flight. So again, if we're going down the wind, it'd be great to hit it up over those bunkers, or maybe even off the tee you can hit a higher trajectory to get a bit more distance. We're going to move that ball position a little bit further forward, so it's more opposite that left heel. And then we're going to keep our spine a little bit further back. And then just like the first shot, the key is really to make sure you stay behind the shot. We don't want to rush and start covering the shot and de-lofting it. We're going to stay slightly more behind it. That of course shallows the angle of attack out, so we'll see a shallower divot than normal, but of course it will lift the ball up that little bit higher. Yep. Okay, so what I want you to do here is I want you to hit 3 shots, first of all with the low ball flight, and then we'll hit 3 with the high ball flight, and then we'll go back to our TrackMan and have a look, see what that's done to the data.
Perfect.
Ben, that's great. So 3 low ball flights, fantastic, great into the wind. So what we're going to do now is mix it up and go for the high one. So again, move that ball position a little further forward. Right. Keep the body behind the shot and let's see the ball really go up there. It should be a little bit higher than your regular ball flight. Okay?
Perfect.
Ben, that's great. So that's your 3 high shots. Yep. Let's go back to the laptop and take a look at it. Yep. Okay Ben, so this is now the data of these 3 different shots that we've just hit. Now the blue one up here, this is the bluey kind of turquoise colour. These were your regular 6 iron shots. The white ones, which have landed a bit shorter, of course, were the lower ones. Yep. Now generally speaking, of course, they'd be a bit more penetrating into the wind situation, but of course they're going to roll up a little bit more. So in terms of total, it would roll up a little further. The yellow ones were then the final shots, the high ones. Yeah. Now you can see, obviously, we've got the wind off the left today, so the wind's just dragged those across over to the right-hand side. In a normal course situation, of course, you would have allowed for that. They're a similar kind of distance to your regular shots, but you do tend to hit the ball a little bit high anyway. So just looking at the data now of the regular shots, we can see your angle of attack here for the normal shot is 6.1. Launch angle here is 14.8. Now the tour average there is 14, so you're about a degree higher than the tour average. Now I'll tell you what I'll do at this stage is I'll bring in the height of the shot as well. So you can see over on this side the trajectory, that's the highest point of the flight, was 99.1 feet in the air. Now if we have a look at that in comparison now to your low ball flight, you can see how the angle of attack now is more negative. Yep. It's brought that launch angle right down. So this was obviously a very low shot here that you've squeezed out, so 6.8. And of course the height now, of course, is 45, so a lot lower than normal. The high, of course, that's now shallowed from our 6.1 to 4.4, so a much shallower angle of attack, which of course has increased the launch angle here to 16.2, so again a little bit higher than standard. And of course the height of the shot now is over 104 feet in the air. So it's a nice high soft landing shot, which is going to be ideal again in certain scenarios. So you can see by changing some of these aspects in your game, just by moving the ball position and the body, it alters that trajectory enough that when you're playing links golf, when you're playing some of these big tournaments this season, you can just change that trajectory to suit that certain occasion, and of course that's going to help you shoot lower scores.
Yep.
All the best this summer, Ben.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve.